Hey, I'm Brian Colley, and I'm here with Eve Egoyan and David Rokeby. And they are two of the performers at 21C, the Royal Conservatory of Music's amazing contemporary music festival. So maybe you can tell me about what it is you two are going to be performing, what your performance is.
It's a collaborative work for piano. This instance it's a disklavier, which is an acoustic piano with a computer interface. And so it sounds like a regular piano, but when everything I'm doing is being tracked and is turned into digital information, and that information has been used by David to do visuals.
You're kind of elaborating on that, this idea of sort of you're responding to the visuals. When it comes to the audience, and just even what choices you are making, even within those confines, depending on what the visuals are, what's going through your head? What is it you maybe want to present?
What do I want to present? Well, I want to be there. As in any interpretive performance, even if I have a score, the most important thing for me for an audience to feel is I'm there then with them. So the act of listening is actually in real time. It's not something so totally predetermined that I feel like even in a scored performance that I like to have that feeling of fluidity and improvisation and listening with my audience. There's a huge power. Like when I go on stage, I feel like it helps the performance. It's like having everything magnified because you feel everyone else's ears involved, and it's almost like they become part of the process of the performance. So I mean, tomorrow will be interesting too because I'll have both their ears and their eyes. It's almost like it amplifies. So the tricky thing is with that amplification for me, is just to kind of be the conductor, like to be in control. But that's why, I have been working on it so that I don't, that I am presenting, but it's also participatory. I don't know if that makes any sense.
No, it actually kind of does, because you always hear about this sort of energy that exists in live music that's completely different. It's hard to define, but people talk about it.
And I think it's an interesting question right now with music technology being where it is at, with so much music being done by computer, etc. I do lots of stuff with computers, and she sees the stuff I do with computers. I think between us, we've had to ask questions about what it means to be live on stage, and how can you take that live act of being a performer on stage, a human performer on stage, and take what's really special about that and really amplify that. Because there's a tendency now for people, perhaps for performers, to compete with their edited CDs and things like that, for it to be about being as good as the recorded performance. Let's forget about that, and let's say, how can we make the live performance as much present as possible? And can we use the technology itself to actually make that presentness even more present?
Yeah, those are fantastic questions. I really like that. And kind of going into the instrument itself, the disklavier, I'm very interested in the technology behind this. So maybe you two could both talk about how it actually works and how it was made.
Well, I'm actually very excited that the disklavier that actually lives at Carnegie Hall, which is a 9-foot disklavier, which is actually very rare. It's only 2 of them in halls in this country. This is the first time it's being used for its output. So it's actually, it's very exciting. I mean, this is what I think this is the playground of the disklavier. It's most often used as a playback instrument, like a modern day player piano, where it can play you can hear Glenn Gould live in a bizarre way, right? His ghost through this piano. So that's how it's often used. But here, it's actually an expansion. It's a moving forward the instrument further. I'm not really talking about the instrument much, but for me in general, the reason I play contemporary music in general is because I love playing the piano, and I want it to keep thriving and growing, and not just stay rooted to its historical past, which is also wonderful, but that it's a growing force for creativity. You can talk about it if you wish.
Well, this possibility to output was really exciting to us, partly because playing an acoustic piano is very special for her. Eve, because it's different for her than playing, say, a synthesizer. It's the weight of the keys, the way she feels connected to the sound is different, and so she plays different on an acoustic piano. So the fact that we could take an acoustic piano, but use it then to stimulate this digital world, was a really nice mixture of the things that we both do.
And I have one final question for you both, which is, how did you decide on the visuals? What we actually would see on screen? How did you come up with those?
It was a little bit a question of what worked, to be honest. I mean, the challenge is, sound and image we see together all the time in movies and things like that. Mostly the sound falls into the background, like a score, for a movie, and we didn't want the sound to fall back, and so we had to find. You can do anything with the visuals, but it's difficult to find things that actually support the sound and keep the balance there. So we played it with a bunch of things, but really focused on the things that maintained that balance, that kept it from falling way to the visual.
Amazing. Thank you both. If you're interested in seeing this, and you absolutely should, Eve and David's work will be happening tomorrow. All the links for tickets and everything will be obviously on our website. So thanks again so much for coming in.